Welcome to Confident Connections, the podcast that helps you show up with confidence and connect with people on a deeper level. I'm Lisa Liu, and here we break down the small signals that create big impact, body language, presence, and the simple habits that help you communicate with ease, increase your influence, and magnify your impact. You'll learn how to make strong first impressions, build trust faster, and feel more confident in any conversation or setting. If you're ready to improve your communication skills and create connections that move your life and your leadership forward, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Confident Connections podcast. I'm so thrilled you're here. This is take 2 because as I was recording, my husband called and it stopped everything. So I literally just recorded almost an entire podcast to myself, and it's out in the ether flying around somewhere. So I'm back. Here we are. We're going to do this. So today we are covering a great topic because last week's message was all about listen to understand and not respond. And I had someone who was a client who's now a friend message me, and she said, I hear what you're saying here. And now I've got a question about this. Here's her question. Is there a difference between the written and spoken word when it comes to listening to understand and not respond? She said, I'm stuck with the written word. I'm overwhelmed and I'm stuck, specifically social media, but also email and text messages. And she said that's where her clients are. They're on social, they're on text, they're on email, they're in a forum, and she's just a bit overwhelmed. But she wants to listen to understand and not just respond. And she felt like with the written word, it was all just response. And I love this because how true is that? And so we're going to get into that, and I'm going to tell you the advice that I gave her. First of all, I do want to tell you about Paleo Valley Collagen Bone Broth. Collagen is great for your hair, for your skin, for your nails. It helps to support your gut health, and it also boosts your metabolism. Now, I can only vouch for the chocolate when it comes to flavor because it's the only one I've ever tried. It's phenomenal. I love it. It's delicious. And I say this every time, but I mean it. It tastes like chocolate donuts. It just does. It is so stinking good. I put it in my coffee, put it in my smoothies. My husband and our daughter puts it in their yogurt. It's just delicious. You can also use it in recipes. So it's also from grass-fed cattle, which is really important to know that your sourcing is top quality. So you can go try it out for a discount at lisaluimpact.com/bone broth. Okay, so her question, what is the difference when it comes to listening to understand and not to just respond? By the way, go listen to last week's episode if you haven't yet, because it was really good about this very topic. What's the difference and kind of what do I do? She, when it comes to social media, it's so common for us to see anniversary, birthday. I'm trying to think of something a little more everyday. Just, hey, I just got this new job, or here's what I ate for lunch. I don't know, whatever, right? And it's just easy to go, cool, great, that's nice, beautiful, congratulations. And then when it comes to text message, when it comes to email, when it comes to a forum or DMs, there is something very different about those styles of written word and a handwritten letter. With a handwritten letter, there is emotion and intent simply by sending a handwritten letter. And what are stamps these days? About, I don't know, $150 each. I mean, they're just so expensive. I think they're up to $75, $90. I don't even know. I buy them a book at a time. But they're expensive. So even just taking that time and spending a little money to send something to somebody, there's already some emotion involved. Plus, in a handwritten letter, maybe we bold something, add some exclamation marks, maybe we underline some things. So there's other ways to convey messages in the handwritten word. And oftentimes we're asking questions. How are you doing? How was your holiday? Especially a long time ago. Maybe not as much today. A handwritten note or letter may just be to send and love on them, which is amazing. But back in the day with pen pals, and when you're writing to family, you're asking them questions and expecting them to write you back and answer those questions. Well, because the typed written word, I'll just say it like that because that covers social media, email, DMs, forums, The typed written word makes communication so accessible. And that seems like, well, shouldn't this make everything easier? It makes it more accessible, but what it doesn't make easier is connection, true connection, because you cannot read emotion. Think of a time where you've written somebody and they, maybe you've poured your heart out, or you've gone out of your way to write 2 to 3 sentences and they write back okay. Or even worse, and hold on, I have to hold on to something as I say this. Maybe they just send you back a thumb up emoji. Oh my gosh. Do not thumb up me. I have said that so many times before. That to me, it's almost like the middle finger. It's like the laziest form of, yeah, got it. I don't know. It just gets under my skin, but it's simple, right? It's fast. And in their mind, to their credit, they're probably thinking, well, I want her to know I saw it, so I'm going to thumb up it. Look, just heart it. Anything but a thumb up. Okay, I digress. So when it comes to the typed written word, aside from emojis, and really an emoji, we can put a laughing emoji in but actually feel sarcastic. We can put an angry emoji in but actually just kind of be, like not really angry, just, but the person on the other end, they're stuck with that emoji and they're hoping or thinking, well, that is really exactly how you feel. When we are in person, which is the most ideal, of course, not only can we hear tone of voice, but we can see expression, we can see all of our body language, and we hear the words. So it's the full context. I'm not sure if I've shared this on here before, but it's important to understand, and I think it's a really cool way of looking at our communication. Communication is 7% words. So the words that we use make up about 7% of our communication. Tone of voice is 38%, and body language is 55%. Well, what is taken out of any digital written word? The 2 biggest rocks in all of communication, tone of voice and body language. So we are left with 7% of the communication picture when we are typing. Interesting, right? So here's what I told her. Here's the advice that I gave her, and the advice I would give you, and something I try really hard to do, but I absolutely sometimes just am especially on social media, I feel like that's almost of a caveat because I don't want to spend all day on social media, and I do want to make sure the person that said something to me feels heard. And so oftentimes I will put an emoji heart or like it or whatever, just so it's like, I see you, I just don't have time to respond, because honestly, that can be a time suck. But let's kind of set that aside for a moment, although this can be relevant to that if you're not too overwhelmed by it. All other forms of digital written word should be, there should be a question attached if appropriate and as often as possible, okay? So this is what I told her. When somebody writes something, ask a question. Tell me more about that. Or, well, how did you come to that conclusion? Or, oh, wow, that's incredible that you got your daughter those shoes for $2. Where did you get them? Even if you don't have a daughter who's little and needs shoes. I don't know. Do you see what I mean? It gets into their world and it creates connection. This is specifically important for those new relationships, for those acquaintances. Your husband, your daughter, I'm not saying don't have better communication with them, but hopefully, you are seeing them and you are spending way more time in person than you are written. However, when our loved ones move away, are we only texting? And if so, I'm telling you, you're losing part of the heart of that relationship. So what do we do in that case? Follow-up questions, asking questions, huge. And again, if it's a relationship, if it's a friend, we probably are asking questions, but I'm going to encourage you to take it a step further. So best case scenario, we're in person. That's not always possible. Second, Zoom call or some kind of video call. That's possible sometimes, especially with our loved ones, but that's possible sometimes. Clients, that's not possible. An actual phone conversation, because then you're hearing their tone of voice. But fourth to that is a voice message. And this is where I think for most of us, it's going to be the most practical, especially if our lives are busy, and we do want that connection, but we're like, okay, I can be in person. We're not going to video conference. A phone call is going to take a little bit too long. Leave a voice memo. So most phones have the ability to actually, I'm not talking about a voicemail, like leaving them a message that way. I'm talking about in your text messaging. Even in Facebook and Instagram, you can leave a voice message where they can hear the sound of your voice, because there lies emotion, and where there is emotion, there is a better chance of connection. There's a better chance of connection. These extra layers, it's just too easy to leave them out in our fast-paced society, but you are not the average person, or you would not be here. You want to be excellent in your communication and in your connection, and I'm telling you, this right here, one of the best pieces of advice I've gotten is to voice message at least one person every single day, a voice message where they're hearing your voice, a voice messaged text. I just want you to know what an incredible human being you are. I'm so grateful for you. Or you know what? You as a new client have just put a smile on my face. I love working with your team. Or, hey, mom and dad, and no, I haven't had time to call lately, but I just wanted you to hear my voice. I love you so much. That right there is something we can all do. It doesn't take long. It can literally take 20 to 30 seconds, but it's a layer deeper that is going to help keep us connected. Or if it's a new relationship, connect us even further. Okay? I hope that was helpful. Real quick, I want to give you my memory of the week. Now, this happened a couple weeks ago. So as you know, I collect memories every day, 1 to 2 memories that I don't want to forget. And here I share my favorite one of the week, or it may have been one a couple weeks ago because I had several. So this one happened a couple weeks ago. Our youngest daughter, Layla, who lives at home, she had to make a split-second decision. So she's 19, she's in college, but she's a 3rd-degree black belt in Taekwondo, and she was on her way to teach a Taekwondo class. Yeah, I'm a proud mom. She was on her way to teach a Taekwondo class. In the car in front of her, the tire blew out. And she had to make a split-second decision. Do I zoom into the lane next to me and risk there being a car, or do I roll over this tire? And she chose to roll over the tire because that really was the right thing to do. And by the way, it wasn't a whole tire. It had blown out, so she rolled over it, and it did completely jack up the car. It's undrivable now. Interestingly, she made it to Taekwondo and then even made it to class the next day. We thought it was just structural damage, and then it started making some pretty terrible noises. Took it to the shop, and it's going to be so many thousands of dollars to fix. She decided to get another vehicle, but this could have gone very, very wrong. This could have, her tire actually could have rolled over it, which would have sent her veering. She could have made the decision to go into the next lane and, potentially hit somebody, and not only hurt herself, but hurt somebody else. There just could have been a wreck. And if you've ever had any close calls or any actual accidents, you know that every time there is a close call that doesn't go awry, you just thank the Lord for his protection and provision in that circumstance. So that was my memory of that particular week, because, oh my goodness, it could have been worse, and she's okay. And we were so proud because in that split second, she decided to be a defensive driver and do the right thing. So there you go. If you have a memory of the week you want to share with me, please send it to info@lisaluimpact.com. With your permission, I would love to share it online. And hey, if you just wanted to stay between me and you, let me know that too. And I would love to hear it and reply to you. I reply to every single email that comes in. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you found this helpful. If so, please share it with a friend. Consider subscribing, leaving 5 stars, or even leaving a review. It helps me get the word out. I appreciate you. Get out there and make your next connection your best connection, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.